can hear me.
All right, you ready?
Okay.
Yeah, let's do
All right,
this.
let's go.
Everyone has
Everybody got
a
their phones
unique
on
gift,
silent?
and Mike, the creator of the One Life podcast, believes most people don't know how to use their gifts or what they are. Mike wants you to see things from a different perspective and be true to yourself. The One Life podcast unites the world through art, fashion, music, and film. It inspires, motivates, and creates positive energy, love, and compassion to all communities, and creates an equal playing field for all. On the One Life podcast, they cover topics like building relationships, overcoming adversity,
know if
habits of
Miguel,
healthy people, and much, much more. We only have one life to live. Be yourself and live your truth. Add the One Life podcast to your playlist. That's the number 1NELife. Available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and your favorite podcast platform.
All right, anyway. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the One Life Podcast. I am Mike MIC Reed, and as always, I have Diana Gotti doing it the Gotti Way from the AV Wellbeing Coalition in the building with us. And today we have some special guests with us today. We have Diana, Sandra, and Sal.
Hello,
and where are you guys from? What foundation are you guys from?
Go ahead. First of all, hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us today. My name is Diana. It's a pleasure to we're working in SALVA. It's a nonprofit. This is an organization, nonprofit, that we offer different services for the immigrant community, but we also offer different services that for the general community. You know, whenever they need help, just come and order SALVA.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just going to jump into it because we already did our talking about the AV and what's going on in the community earlier in an earlier segment. So I know Sandra from Jazz Night over at Zelda.
Right,
Shout out to Zelda. Shout out to our girl over there. And Herbie. I also know you from karaoke. I want to talk about this karaoke thing.
Oh, I love karaoke. You guys brought me in, and it was a fluke. It was a fluke when you guys brought me in. I love it.
You guys know she do karaoke. She's amazing.
I can imagine.
Now I know. I didn't
I had
know.
no idea.
There's
know
a
what?
lot they don't know.
So this is why we're gonna talk about this. So she was so shy, right? Because she always just do Thursday night jazz, and then we got her to come to karaoke, and she was like, "Well, I don't do it." So we got her to finally get on there, and she was like a superstar.
Wow.
Really?
Like, so me and her friend, like we told her we was gonna help her, right? So we grabbed some mics and we stood behind her, but so she was in the front and. She thought we was singing with her, but we really wasn't.
That's right.
Was that how she pushed you out?
Yeah,
I looked back, and they were standing behind me, and I'm just like, what?
Hey, she did amazing though.
Yeah,
Like it was amazing. Like
Now
you can tell, like it's been in her to do it.
But isn't it karaoke? You're not supposed to sound good. You're supposed to sound awful.
Hey, and you know, and that's what I tell people about, because I've been doing karaoke for about 25 years, and people are always like, "No, I don't know how to sing." I'm like, "None of us do. Like, this ain't American Idol. Like, none of us do. Like, we just have fun,
my God.
and you have fun, right?"
Oh, I loved it. I had
She
a
had
blast.
a ball.
I had a blast. I did.
Oh my goodness! I feel like I really need to get out there.
Oh,
now.
you do.
Oh yeah, you do.
do.
Yeah, you know what? See, she hasn't been there yet.
You have.
I mean, she's been to Zelda's, but she hasn't been there on karaoke night.
It's a
No,
great
I have
experience.
not.
It's really fun.
Really?
Yes.
And I can only imagine. It's
I'm still working on her. I'm still working on her.
And I'm married to a Filipino. These people
I
live.
know.
That's what they live for.
That's what.
Yes.
Talking about American Idols, like
Exactly. They're all sing.
Oh,
Even
they're
when we go to the
incredible.
bathroom.
I know. You know what? My husband's uncle, he sings Frank Sinatra. Like, oh
beautiful
my
voices.
God.
Wow.
Yeah, he actually sang for my birthday, and it was beautiful. But they're like, "Come on, it's your turn." I was like, "Nah, I think that's where we ended."
good.
And I think us Salvadorian, we kind of blend in with Filipino because
Yeah.
people think I'm Filipino,
I know.
but I'm Salvadorian.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know.
It's the eyes.
I
It's
can-
Absolutely.
the eyes.
The
yeah.
eyes, for sure.
Yeah. That's what we get to. We blend in very well. But when I do, I think I can do more Spanish music. You know, like Escand. There you go. Okay, now.
Especially if you have a good drink with you.
Right. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little bug into the karaoke.
Yeah.
Bug.
Hey,
Okay, now.
if you hang out with me too much, you're gonna end up being up there.
Oh yeah.
It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. So, anyways, let's get into why we're here. So, you know, again, like we met Sandra over at Jazz, and we got to talking, and she was telling me about the foundation that you're a part of. What's the name of it?
SALVA organization, nonprofit.
Salva.
SALVA, SALVA.
Salva.
Yes.
And so, I mean, let's talk about why you guys are here and the food trucks, right? It's a.
We
is
have
that
a
what we're talking
lot of
about?
services. One of the big things that caught my attention, and I'm a newcomer, and these lovely people have put in a lot more time than I have. what caught my attention is when people are in need and, and it's just in general of any race, anything, people just think, oh, it's only Hispanics, it's only Mexicans. No, it's not. It could be from Nigerian, African American, it could be Honduran, anything, all across the board. People don't see the hard labor that it takes to run a food bank. Simple as that, which I can speak because I've been doing it personally and have, like I said, missed even my son's playoff games to go help these people. And I can speak from experience where I'm up at 4:30 already getting my household ready to be at the location, which is that we know it as La Casita, where we distribute the food bank and some, because we just did turkeys, we did chickens. I mean, it's so well rounded, and everything that is put into it, people just don't see what the whole work behind it is. And we're there, and we're, in the cold, in the rain, in the breeze, in the wind, in the traffic, just to get this going. And it's really self-satisfying where I'm the kind of person that I love social media for good stuff. I don't like it for bad stuff, but when you do something good like this, I don't publish it because that's within my heart, and I know I did good because I'm planting that seed for my kids.
And where is the casita located?
Go ahead, go for it.
Okay,
That's your turn. Go for it.
It's actually we're located on Palmdale. It's 2024, I think so.
It's one of the, I think it's the hammock house, but it's the one that is for the city. The city has let us borrow the
location.
Yes. So the location is in a Q5. And then, battle bus that we didn't bring the exactly.
It's okay.
I do have it.
And when is it? And when do you
I
guys do the distribution for the food?
Every Saturday, we are giving food. Unless it's a big holiday, but we always announce it in Facebook. Or they always call us. And then we tell them, no. Usually, they're starting on Thursday. They call, hey, are you going to give food on Saturday? And that's what we say, yes. Always post it.
And for those who want the exact address, it would be 1012 East Avenue Q5. And if you want a good distribution, be there early. We start at 10, but you would not believe that people are lining up at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it.
And that's when you see how much necessity and needy people there is. And you just people are walking in their shopping carts to get there.
Wow.
And that's what drove me and led me to like and love the organization more.
I think we help over 300 to 400 families every Saturday.
Stop it. Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, I'm getting the chills.
Told us that
I'm getting the chills right now.
Yes.
No, seriously, I am.
And Felix, which is the founder of this, he goes from Pasadena to downtown to LA to get all these food banks and people to donate. And yes, people sometimes are grumpy because we have to ask them for their name and their location, their zip code. But if we don't follow the guidelines, we get closed down because at the end of the day, somebody needs to turn reports of who are all these distributions going to.
Well, this is the proof that we have, that when we have their names and phone numbers, so we could show these are the people we're helping. So this is not just my mouth. We have to something to show.
It justifies.
It justifies.
It justifies
action.
it.
Yes.
Right.
So it's a lot. I mean, and like I said, I speak from experience on that, and that's my thing now. I love going because I also get to take my mom, who's a disabled, and she's very involved in her church back in the valley where I originally came from Burbank, and now it's exposing her to helping out again.
Yeah,
and it's a blessing in disguise in so many ways, and it's just a great feeling.
Yeah.
Wow. So
that's one of the things. So now you tell them what else.
Yes, continue, honey.
Going back a little history about SALVA,
Okay.
we started 6 years ago. They were the founders for 7 Salvadorians. They see the needs of the community, the help. One time, just something briefly, that he was in the DMV. It's half of our people don't speak English.
Right.
And I mean, this is the funny thing. Himself don't speak perfect English, but he was helping these people to do their, what need to do in the DMV. And I think he said that he spent them for 4 or 5 hours. That has nothing to do with he's done with his business, but he was there and helping. So that's how he started, and they started getting meetings and everything at restaurants. We didn't have nowhere to go. He started from nothing. So he was just going, knocking on the doors and saying the needs that they need. And he wanted to
He
help.
had that drive.
Well, the
So
thing
that
is, I think the
stuff.
Antelope Valley it's very diverse as far as with Central America and South America. It wasn't really until I moved to the Antelope Valley where I saw
Got to
that.
see it.
Right.
Yes.
How many different types of countries that we do have. But to point out when you say, there's a lot of people that do need the help, you have to remember as immigrants, it's a fear factor.
It is.
You're not, it's not as
100%.
easy to say, hi, I don't speak the language. Can I have the help? But that's great that you do highlight that, because even without being part of SALVA, right, being able to connect with our community, take a look to see to your right or to your left, is there someone that can use the
giving me the
help or
chills.
is just shy about that?
Yes.
But, to also highlight how we can do that, to help each other,
Right.
not necessarily from just an organization, but as a community.
Yes.
And what you're doing and I think with the food banks, what we don't realize as well is that this is a commuters, community, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you only have one person in the household that's providing.
Yes.
So with everything just being so expensive, I think
the
it's
inflation.
the inflation, right? I think that this is great, and to encourage some families to come out there and not to be, embarrassed or ashamed.
There's
the help
nothing
is
to be embarrassed
right.
about. We
The
are
help
here
is
to help.
there, right?
Yes.
Because we know that the need is there, and to be able to give our families that warm meal and to create that quality time, because even
You will think any little hope it will make no
Right.
difference, but it does. It
Makes a
does
huge
when
difference.
someone cares, and that's the mission of Salva. That always be there, look out for those who don't want to speak up, and then give us a chance. Give us a chance to prove that. We are immigrants, and somehow, some way, we did it illegally, but we're here to educate them, to
Right.
give them the where they need to go and do it the right way.
Right.
Confidence.
Most of these
by all
people
means,
are
and confidence.
hard workers,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
and then it just looking for a better life. They're looking for food. They're not nothing else.
right.
So is it a lack of confidence or is it a lack of fear?
I think
Mix.
it's a lack of confidence. It's fear and uneducation.
Right.
Because it's not, I can to this day say I'm uneducated on certain topics, and
Right.
I love to be educated. Like if I don't know a word, tell me what it means.
Right.
And there's nothing, but because I have that confidence and I walk in and I'm like, okay, this is it. I that's how I carry myself, with confidence, but I'm not going to be embarrassed and say, I don't know something.
Right.
And I think it's a lot of lack of education.
Yes.
And that's where we're working on and thriving on. I mean, we have where we have attorneys coming in and helping out with immigration. People are becoming citizens through through SALVA. We have,
wow,
I think
Really?
we had
It's huge.
130 people this
Yeah.
year. They became citizens because
Oh, that's
Salva
great.
was giving them the classes.
Now
We
see,
hope.
and that's kind of a little bit what I want to touch on, because, and that's where when I asked you about, is it fear? Because I know somebody from Salvadorian, and she's been here for decades, right? But for some reason, she can't become a citizen,
Send her over.
and she's afraid that they're going to send her back if she
Not
speaks
at all.
up. And that's what I mean about a lot of them are like, she don't want to go through any process because she is afraid that they might just send her back for whatever reason.
There's a process of it, and we have an attorney. We have also a professor from UCLA, right?
Yes, for English classes.
For
Teaching.
English classes. I mean,
Yes.
there's so many avenues. Like I said, it's one door after another of opportunities that Salva provides.
And every case is different.
Right.
Every
Yes.
case, you just need to find out where you're standing.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
it might be a good chance for winning. Right now, by not doing nothing, you have chances to be afraid and
That's
not
true.
to do and provide what. I mean,
Right.
keep in mind what you're here for.
Right.
You're not here to hide. You're here to ask,
Better your life.
And you know that you're here at someone else's house, so you always be very careful with that. So,
Hey, I was like, where the party at? Where the party at?
are we in the wrong party?
We're in the wrong podcast.
Sorry. I am so sorry. I thought I numbed him. All right.
Hey, we're organic here. We're organic. Diana wanted
Big
to have a
bang, take
5-minute
little
party,
bang.
so it's all good.
It was just too much sadness, so she had to put it in.
En español, no. Okay.
No. And it's very important because, again, my parents were both immigrants and they came here from El Salvador. Right. And, you know, the same thing with my dad. He was able to start his own company. He was a painter. And my mom was able to educate herself and still put herself through, you know, like English classes in Los Angeles. And you do see that a lot in Los Angeles, right? Because it's a bigger immigration. You have more immigrants, I would say, in the community. And when you move here to the Antelope Valley, it's so spread, right?
It's a big
right, where you really can't just walk to your liquor store. You can't just walk to, you know, like una tiendita or to get food, or not only that, but most importantly is to keep your culture, right? Totally. To have, like you shared, you're from Colombia, right?
Yes.
Is there Colombian restaurants here? Do we have the community? Are we out here? Do you see a lot of that? Not really.
Yes.
And I think it's part of the beauty of having choices. The people from different countries, and then you get to see and talk to them and try their food and cultures. So if we would see the beauty, it's not that bad at all. It's just we have to be willing.
You know, for me, a lot of people don't know this, and I just found out 4 years ago that I'm part Cuban.
Oh, really?
Look at you. Look at the faces. Look at the faces. They all just got shocked right now. They're like, "Oh, what?"
Oh, now it's interesting.
Yes.
How did you find out? By one of the tests?
No, well, my sister did. So my sister, because so I lost my mother at a young age, and I never knew that side of the family because her family, they kept us from them. But my sister always wanted to find that side of the family, and I know I have a aunt and a uncle out there.
How exciting.
So she been doing her research, and like 4 or 5 years ago, she did do the test, and she found out that my mother's mother, who was my grandmother, was from Cuba.
Oh my God.
Like her last name was Hernandez, and we just didn't know.
Latin blood.
No, but you know what's crazy about that is I've always dated Latin women like my entire life, and I never knew why I was so attracted to the Latin community. Now, when she told me that, I was like, "Oh, that makes sense."
You know, we got that little thing.
My body asking for it.
Hello.
You see, now that's the crazy part because I'm married to someone who's white.
Right.
Well, I married a Filipino.
You see what I mean?
Girl.
So I'm talking about her.
But I think it's nice.
That's right. And karaoke, you can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
So anyway, so that's what Alva's standing for. And we like the chance in this one because we have to put the word out there that it's not only for Latinos.
Right.
Yes.
It's whoever had the need. I don't care what color you are.
Yes.
Right.
And then I want to stop thinking that we don't speak English. We speak with an accent, but we do speak English.
Right.
But the help is there. Just reach out. Let us know what you need.
Just reach out.
And then we'll do our best.
Yes, I'm a witness. Actually, I started speaking like 1 year ago. In
Really?
this beautiful community, specific SALVA, teach me a lot. And how it's important to help each other. I'm a witness, and I'm a testimony, like SALVA works in general community. I'm gonna speak Spanish, like I love to speak Spanish, but at the same time, it's so important to start to understand around you. And like when the people start to come in the office and they speak in English, no, don't worry. And they actually, it's very funny, like, oh yes, so you cannot speak English. Yes, I try my best. So whatever you need, come on.
Yeah. We're breaking her out of her shell.
Yes.
I'm constantly like, wait, what is this?
Yes.
What is this?
Yes.
You're doing amazing.
Isn't she?
Yes,
I am
she is.
so proud of her.
I would have never known you a year.
When she told
Yes,
me, I was
it's
like,
pretty
wow.
difficult, but the accent is his accent. Actually, my English is like, I'm like Sofia Vergara English, struggling. Every day she's struggling. But I mean, every day, it's just important. It's beautiful, this beautiful country, give the opportunity about the diversity and the different cultures. So it's always for in general community, whenever he needs help, we're here for them.
So this is the thing that our top thing that we're so proud is the food distribution that we do every Saturday. But we have computer classes, we have English classes, and we have the naturalization, those who are going to become citizens, we have those classes too. And then we have a center that has like 15, 16 computers. Anyone who's doing their resume or they want to try to check their email, they're welcome to come and use the computers in our center.
Yes.
So let me ask you this, because I actually have a friend I'm about to send your way. No, I'm dead serious about this.
Are we speaking about the same person?
Oh,
That
you guys have
said?
a connection, I guess.
Earlier.
Are we speaking about the same person that you were just speaking about?
Oh
Or-
no.
Okay.
Someone else. She lives out here, and she's from Mexico. And I've known her since I moved out here about 4 years ago. And she speaks English like this much. But
Send her
she
our
could
way.
get by. But she wants to learn English, and she wants me to teach her. But I'm not a teacher, so I've been trying to help her. But what are the requirements? What's the process of like taking like an English class, like going over there?
Okay, and the specific for the English classes, we need to get first to the level of an English, so we can give you a specific test.
Right.
Then we call you back. Okay, this is the order that we gave you all the information. Actually, we have two schedule for Tuesday 10 to 12. No, I'm sorry, 5:30 to 8 at night, and Thursday 2 at the same hour.
Okay.
And
And it's open to anybody. Like there's
Yes,
no
yes,
special
yes.
requirements.
No.
I think that's the key that we have it because we make it so simple that you don't feel like, like, let me see an idea or let me see how, we make it so
knowledge
simple.
factor or not, no.
So
And
people
is
feel
there a
comfortable.
cost for the classes?
No, it's totally free.
It's all
You
free.
just only have to bring your beautiful passion to be good, your
Really?
love and come back.
It's free.
Another good thing that Salva does provide also is the yearly membership.
Yes.
That's another big thing.
So, thank you for that. Yeah.
Come on.
So yes, so the membership
I'm
and
breaking her, guys.
like yes, you know. So the membership of SALVA is $25 for every person. And thank you. This is important to know.
A year?
But we also a year, every year. So actually, with that specific membership, you have a beautiful space for us. Thank you for that. Every effort that you come and entrust with us. So we give you a specific space, like a member. Like every time we need a good event or something, we can give you to the back community. They will be a priority for us as a
You
membership.
basically get first dibs.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
and you get placed on a VIP basically list. And
Yes.
on any we have the posada coming.
Oh yes,
Come
the
on,
posada.
girl.
Yo,
Come
yes,
on.
Just a lot of things
Come
like
on.
that.
There's
It's like
that's
yes.
for
Hey,
Christmas.
it's okay.
Right.
We
It's
got
okay.
time. You got time. We got all day here. Relax.
Well, it's funny that you did bring up the posada, and I'm also looking here at the flyer for the youth empowerment, and I'm so big with the youth. And
I get the chills thinking
yeah,
about all
well,
this.
especially again, I go back to my parents were first. I'm first generation immigrant, so my parents, and I will highlight how difficult it was to break that barrier, right? Where my parents
Where
did
to
come
go find
from,
that place.
right? So how can you also help those families now? Where I do see that some of my kids, their parents are also first generation immigrants, and then you have now those youth. Do you have something that would help those kids that are now American? So they have parents
keep
that
their
are
culture.
immigrant, right? And then you have American, because sometimes you do have that fear, right? Where, I don't feel comfortable with the dances, or I don't feel comfortable with, like the social events, because I'm already American, where I'm motivating my kids, invite your friends to go to this. And their parents are afraid. Where do you have something that
We
would
do have
help?
classes, and that's Diane in charge
Yes.
of.
This is my
She's the dancer.
No, I actually started to build that beautiful skill because I started now I'm a Latin woman, but I'll be honest.
Latina, dijo,
yes, yo
te orgullo,
Latina,
amor.
mi vida, yo soy.
Eso.
Sin embargo, no sé bailar.
Yeah.
Pero
Ay,
en
no.
yes.
Eso lo vamos a cambiar, ¿ok?
Yeah.
Yo soy mexicana y le voy a enseñar a bailar salsa. Right now we were coming from my house, I'm playing salsa, and she's like, and I go, oh no, this is going to change, honey. Te vamos a enseñar, we're going to teach
And
her
for being
salsa.
Colombian, huh?
Yes,
That's
my
awesome.
dad lives
Ahí
in
es donde
Colombia.
empezamos
and
a
he's the best.
start to break the stereotypes.
Okay.
Like that in the same time. Because yes, I'm Colombian, but in the same time, honey, I don't know how to do this. But I have the passion to learning.
Right.
And also, we offer folklore
best chef.
classes
Yeah.
every Saturday to 2 to 4 in the office Salva. So whenever you need, you bring your beautiful kicks. Because it's so important to start to remember his heritage, your custom. Like, please, you're American, but you have to have a beautiful heritage. You have to awareness.
Right.
So that's what we always
Yeah,
bring
because
up.
I saw that you also offer for the mental health, right? For
Yes.
immigrants.
Yeah.
So can you
Awareness.
tell me a little bit about that, since we are, I'm also part of the AV Wellbeing Coalition. So we are certified in applied positive psychology. So I'm really big on that, with, I've highlighted a few times of generational baggage, right? Where we have our parents that come over here with so much trauma from the
Yes.
war. They're fleeing our countries not because they're happy, right? Because if they were, why would they be leaving their beautiful country, that El
And
Salvador,
believe me, it's
Colombia,
not easy
Mexico?
to take that decision. Oh,
Right.
God.
So how is it that Salva helps our community as far as the mental health and
We
being
have
able to
someone-
process that?
We have someone who come. We try to have her like once a month, depending of, because we gotta have a group, and when we have like 5, 6 people,
Oh,
and they'll say,
mujeres
"Hey,
con raíces.
you could come," and then
She's amazing.
amazing
Phenomenal.
the things that make you realize that you think like, oh no, that doesn't bother me, but going back and you go, wait a minute, this lady's touching something that I forgot.
Yeah.
So
What's her name?
Martina
Ojeda.
Yeah.
She's
And
from
where's
she's
she
from
from?
the I think she comes from LA.
Yes,
And
she's
through
from
the
the LA
through the
County.
city,
LA
LA
County.
County sent it to us.
So,
Okay.
She
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, 'cause-
and
And
she
she's
saw
a
for
survivor
herself. And I was shocked.
Yes.
Like
we
hold
just
on.
learned that our last.
She
our
went
last-
through depression,
Yes.
deep depression.
Right.
So she's talking the truth because
From
she went
experience,
through.
yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I gotta cry the last time she
remember
was
that?
there
Yes,
because
it was just last class.
I was seeing her like, oh, I went through that, and I
Right.
didn't have nobody how to do it because we're so ashamed to ask for help because we have that. We need to break the idea that
That
if
cycle.
if you admit it, that you're crazy.
Well, I don't think it's that. Sometimes what we don't,
Fear.
yes, fear, but trauma. You know, when we think of trauma, we think of, like an accident, or we think of a life or of a
Or
death.
it's starting the family because the family
Yes.
single you out.
Well, not
first.
only that, but sometimes people don't realize that being an immigrant in another country is also a trauma. And
Yes,
what
it
are
is.
and what can come from that trauma? It could be the anxiety, right? And it could be the fear, and it could be other different things. So how do we process that? So I love the fact that Salva does touch on the immigrant families, but what we don't realize is that the trauma that comes for that. So that's why I was asking, do we have also those types of maybe workshops at Salva
have
Yes.
that we can
That's
bring
what she
in
comes
the
into the
Yes.
place.
yeah.
She comes into play into the
Every month.
workshops.
Yeah,
have.
because I wish I would have known that or had those tools growing up, and with my family to be able to process or to understand my mom a little bit better, right, where, we start to realize the war, like in El
Sometimes you don't
Salvador.
know, you don't know what to say,
Right.
And sometimes it's such a sensitive topic that you might say something that you're helping more to that person to go deeper in their depression.
Right.
So, but it's something that, how it works with us is that every month we have a calendar. And we have the calendar of the events that we're going to be doing in that month. And then we always try, because it is very important, the mental health.
Yes.
And I
Right.
learned that when I started in Salva. I didn't know. I said, me in particular, said, I don't need no mental health. I'm not crazy.
No, but it's
how-
not.
in
It's
denial.
not
We
that
all
we're
need it.
crazy.
But I'm
Now,
telling you.
Right.
Awareness.
Right. And when you do say depression, actually before
I don't
you
think
become,
we'll admit it. No one admit
We
that.
were just talking about. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
we
no,
were
it's
just
okay.
talking about depression at the last workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to.
We have a little discussion.
Yes, we did have a discussion because a lot. It sometimes people don't know how to identify it.
Right.
Don't know how to deal with it, don't know how to cope with it, don't know where to go to get help with it. And this lady just laid it out all on the table, and I was like, wow.
These are
That workshop
they're
was
tools,
really intense.
right?
Yeah,
they're
there's
tools,
very good tools.
And before you even get to depression, it's a stage. It's called languishing. So when you're in a languishing state, that's that blah state, right?
Yeah.
And I can use immigrant as an example, right? In your country, you can only remember the food,
Yes.
right? The beaches,
Oh my God.
the music,
I didn't-
the family. But the reason why I'm highlighting all of that is when you are in a languishing state, and that can be like a few things from like the trauma. How do you pull out of that? Well, joy is what, like dancing,
Yes.
eating your food,
Listen music.
and listening to
Oh,
that music. So that's why I was saying, is that Salva can be that for these communities where we
course.
can go and say, hey,
Go to.
although
Yes.
you might not be able to visit your country right now, let's give you a few jolts of joy. We can teach you the language.
Yes.
We can help you get your
Tools.
papers, right? Or, to become a citizen through the process, through the support. We're here.
It's a big support.
Right. And
It's
that's,
the community of the support that is all held. It's just like, it just wraps around you. You go there and you show up to the office, and everybody is so welcoming.
yeah.
It really is. I got there just by a fluke. I was there for another organization, literally across the hallway, and I went and I spoke with Stephanie.
Yeah.
And she pulled me in. Right when she laid out everything, this, and that, I was intrigued.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll be back tomorrow.
I was so impressed that SALVA is being maintained by donation because we're nonprofit. And then we have realized that when you want to help people, but there's no money, it's nothing will move. Unfortunately, we need the money. Every time we get something, we will make sure the community get it.
Yes.
Because we are the community. I mean, there's no one there's like
stays in the community.
that I'm like, no, I'm the one who have the needs too. So when I speak and I say and help, it's because I'm the one, I see myself there.
You're speaking.
And how do you
Yes.
get, and if there are listeners out there, how can they donate to SALVA?
You just call Salva.
Okay.
There's a number that you will call. And then this is the thing that now I'm so proud that if you Google us and put the name SALVA, it will appear.
Yes.
We are in Facebook. So it's
We're
been
all the
6
social
years,
media,
and then
TikTok, WhatsApp.
we have accomplished so much. Now that we have a little office and everyone has a little cubicle, back then we didn't have nothing. So it is amazing how
Long
we
way.
move.
And where is the
then
SALVA
city-
located?
There we go. The city has give us a lot of awards of how much we given to the community.
Salva's located at 10. Oh no, that's the other location.
So-
1224 East Avenue
S.
S
Avenue.
D.
D. Pandel, California.
And there's a big sign outside. You see SALVA, and
Yes,
it's
you-
a
yeah, it's
neon
really
sign. You cannot miss that. So anyway, so I'm proud to be part of it, and then the more I stay there,
The more you learn.
the more you learn.
Yes.
You always learn something.
Yes.
And so I'm looking at your flyer here, and you guys have youth empowerment. Like, at what ages do you guys start it?
Actually, on our folklore classes is every Saturday, and it's 7 to 14, 12. The important thing is the kids coming. Don't let us in the house just all the fun and just forget about your beautiful childhood, because that age never come back. So start to embrace the beautiful age and make fun, because that will provide every Saturday in folklore classes. They have a professor that can teach you. How important is get the discipline to dance too, but don't forget your heritage.
And is there a fee for the classes for the folklorico? Oh, okay.
So everything's free.
Everything is free.
Yeah, everything
The
is
only thing that you
foundation.
need to pay, if you need to have immigration help by the attorney, of course, it won't be what you pay outside.
Right.
Right.
But it will be
It's-
something to your accommodations,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then the other thing that we're doing, that we're trying to combine forces with another association called Project Joy. Project Joy is want us to, they have the funds to help someone from 16 to 25 years old. And then they're looking out to see if they could go to get a certificate with the 3 or 4 months or something they could do, empower the youth, like get a driver license, and they will pay for things. But like I said, every case is different. Once they talk to the person, and then they will see where's the need, they can help them.
Yes.
And can you tell me a little bit more about? I know you mentioned the posada. I
Yes,
know
the next
posada. It's
events.
Christmas time.
Yes.
What is it?
December
So
17th.
so we gotta
Educate
feel.
me. We gotta
Educate Mike over here. He's
Educate
gonna
me.
want to be there.
I am.
Yes, and the reason why I get excited is before I did grow up in the AV, but we moved over to City Terrace, so that's predominantly Mexican community, and we used to hear or see a lot of the posadas, and they used to come around with the Indians,
yes.
exactly, and it's very big in Catholic community, so they would bring out the Virgin Mary, and then they go to different houses, and then they sing, and then
big.
right, oh, it's big, and then every house would either have like a pozole or have like a champurrado. So they go to different houses and kind of like you would say
caroling.
like caroling. Yes. Right. So this is I would say it's a Mexican.
It is Mexican.
Right. So it is a Mexican of culture, but it's really nice how you're able to get a little feel of the country.
Your
and although
heritage. Yeah.
heritage, and although you can't go back home, and do this with your loved ones
Yes.
in your small like in El Salvador, they're colonias. So they're like
We have
they're
colonias
like
too in Mexico. Mexico?
Mexico too. So these are like neighborhoods, like back. Exactly.
Yeah.
So then that's kind of how you do like different colonias or different
Little
neighborhoods
small
have it,
communities,
right? So they go around and then they bring the Indians and you see like the heritage. You really get a feel of home.
Yes.
So that's why I love it, because to me it brings joy. Although
So I don't know if you share that with me, that every time you eat something, it immediately take you back home.
it's a jolt of joy.
You eating and you go, oh my God, you're just there.
Yeah.
So what Salva is doing, because we respect everyone beliefs and everyone's religion.
Yes.
So we call it Posada Navideña. So we are just giving you the meaning,
Yes.
what is done, but we're not gonna do it religious.
Right.
So that way anyone is welcome.
Yes.
Well, I like
Everybody
We're just
feels
gonna show you the
comfortable.
focus, but not the believe in Jesus. No, we want to bring the
Ay,
fun.
Salvador.
So
You
that's
can't
not
take
the,
them anywhere.
it's not what we're doing. Is when you come in, it's just I want to show you a taste of my country, of my culture, of everyone. Because when we come to this country, we're just Hispanic.
But there's good music. So put it. There will be music.
It will be music. It will be a
Food.
lot of food.
Yes.
And then we're gonna be doing some shop work for the kids. They could do doing things with the ornament for the
Art and
tree.
crafts.
Right.
Art and crafts.
And then Santa's gonna be there taking picture with the kids, and it's gonna be some fun.
And one of the biggest, sorry to cut you
No,
off,
no.
honey. One of the biggest things too, which I am assuming, is that the vendors that will be there are people that we are currently helping with permits for them to get
wow.
coded, and that's a big thing. Instead of having pop-ups and having our community depreciate and people getting in trouble and health coming and picking up their food, we're helping them get their permits and getting coded properly and getting them all in line. So everybody does it correctly, and that's what we're known for. That's another thing.
wow. I like
SALVA,
that.
another big thing, was the first organization that brought the COVID vaccine.
Yes.
That's huge. I just learned about it a day or two
Yes,
ago,
2
and
days
I was
ago.
like, what? That's huge. And every time, and on Saturdays, we have vaccines.
Yes,
Which
and
is
actually,
not,
yes.
hasn't been mentioned. I mean, it goes, like I said, there's so many arms to Salva that we need more people to come and help.
And this is the thing that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are getting tired of listening to the COVID-19. COVID-19, every case is different. The service is there for you to use it. We're not imposing it on one.
No.
Everyone is
But
have
it's
the right
available.
to believe, and what
it's
do I want to
available.
believe?
It's
In
It's
case they don't
choice.
have insurance, or
Yes,
in case they're afraid to
exactly,
go
yes.
somewhere.
No
Okay, I
question.
But
see
people
that. I
assume
like
that we're
that.
pushing it like, no, you have to.
No.
No,
It's just yes or no, and I'll go my way.
Right,
Yes.
but it's the fact
But
that
it's not like this,
you're
huh?
you're providing it. You're
Yes.
providing the service
Yes.
for our community, although you might not,
And not only
be
that,
documented.
for the flu,
Yes.
we
Right.
give it the flu shot too.
Yes.
I mean something that is out there.
It's
Right.
available.
I didn't invent it, so it comes. So we're trying to help the community to stay healthy.
And what kind of services do you also, since we're talking on the medical, what kind of services come with clinical, the migrate, what is it?
I get the clinic that is showing
what
there.
we're
I
talking
get
about,
the
the
because
So it's
clinic.
just that?
Yes.
So it's
not
just
the
a flu
COVID-19,
shot.
the
Okay.
flu shot.
Okay.
And another thing that is very sensitive now, we're gonna start doing with the babies. So
yes.
I mean, we try to educate ourselves, get the information, and then sometime we just transferring what they told us to the people, and it's always whoever is gonna decide to do it. It's your own decision. It's not
Yes.
my decision.
Oh, that's
Also,
good.
when available, another thing, there's baby formula, and there's also baby diapers. I mean, it's huge. I mean, we keep thinking, okay, we've covered this, we covered that. There's so much coverage
We're
to
such
do.
a small organization, but we stay busy.
But it's huge.
We stay busy.
We do a lot, and it's goes unnoticed because sometimes people are unaware of what is out there.
Yeah, and when you say you need other people, are you looking for volunteers to come out and help
Yes,
Salva?
absolutely. Yes.
Definitely. Something funny to say that when we have that
Why you
with
look at me?
computer classes are more for.
I'm like, hello.
You will think that major that how do you say it? I want to say it the right way. It's only for people for seniors, I will say, because those are the ones who doesn't know how to work with a computer. They don't know how to answer an email.
Yeah.
So every class you will see full of moms there, and then
And it's
trying to pay attention to it and they're so happy that when they're willing to make their own email. So
huge.
I mean, it's nice. I don't know how I like it.
Yes.
We need a cover, hondureños, los de Home Depot.
Oh, sí.
¿Dónde?
Lo voy a decir en español.
Pero,
muchachos.
okay,
Yo
well,
lo voy a decir en
español. Okay,
español.
All right, we're going to
Nuestra
Spanish.
organización
Okay.
tenemos diferentes
Put it mic
servicios.
closer.
Y tenemos y ayudamos a nuestros hermosos jornaleros que son parte vital en nuestra hermosa organización y en nuestra hermosa comunidad también. Ay, tú traduces, porque ya.
I don't
Yes,
know.
pues, wow.
Well, but can I say briefly? I think we try to help these people that are standing in the Home Depot, Lowe's. I know some. I mean, everyone have a different point of view what they're doing here. But those who are willing to hear and get help, we're gonna tell them how it need to be done right. Okay. So improperly. So we're not gonna move them everyone at the same time, because sometimes it's a lot of them, and sometimes all the ones are doing all the things that they don't supposed to. Right. But our job is to go there and say, look, there is some classes that you could take. There is something that you could do in order to get a permit to for OSHA.
Right.
OSHA required for those who are working in constructions, and once you said that, most of them know what we're talking about.
This
So I
is
say,
a
once you
training.
have this, it could be easier for you.
Right, and be
Okay.
able to get other or even jobs for the city,
So
right?
this-
Because the
help with
city.
that.
So this is what we're doing. We have like
third party.
we list them there, we train them, and then if it's any chance they could find a job, it will be introduced by us. So they will have more power because you coming from not this tree, you're coming from an organization.
Right.
But not all of them are willing to. But I mean, let's say for 10 out there, if I could recruit 2, that's something.
That's true.
Right.
So that little thing, it will make the difference little by little.
Right. And it helps our community grow. It helps because, again, we are a smaller community where we have, mom and pops shops, right? Where they're even just trying to make it themselves. And then when sometimes you have undocumented workers that might be out there or might be struggling with people that do have the license with, restaurants. And you do tend to see that a lot where sometimes I even make a comment like, oh man, it really sucks because these small businesses are staying afloat. And then you do feel bad, like, well, I want to help my people, I want to contribute, but then you're stuck in the middle. So for you to be able to help them process and give back to contribute to society and give back, I think that's very important because that's the only way we're going to grow, and we're going to grow together as a community if we are able to focus on that.
Yes, also SALVA, we have different specific workers for the wage staff. So we actually help a beautiful person to come about your immigrant status, and SALVA work help you with them like it's wage staff. I don't know if I say.
Are you talking about that there's cases that some people hire these people in the corners and then end up not paying them?
Yes.
They do their work, but they don't pay them. And then, so that's what we are. SALVA helped them, said that if you use them knowingly, the blah, blah, whatever reason, but you need to pay them. What makes you think that you could abuse these people? They've already been abused. So we work on that too. We have, I think, a few cases that are following up.
Yes.
And then there's been turned out that those people, when we said, okay, this is SALVA, we're helping these people, you did this and that. So when they see the other people pushing forward, they end up, they pay them. They
Right.
pay them because otherwise they wouldn't pay it. They did the job and, they give a check that is not.
That's not
So, is there a, do you guys teach like business? Like for instance, because I know firsthand that a lot of people that work at Home Depot, or not work at Home Depot, but stand at Home Depot, because they're self-employed, right? And like even for me, like I've been on since I was 14, and I've never had a 9-to-5 job. But for me, even being an independent contractor, so to speak, without paying taxes and all that, not saying I don't pay my taxes. I don't want nobody to think I don't pay my taxes.
Oh wow!
But let's be clear about that. But you know, like if you work on the table, whatever, you get more money, and you know, a lot of these people, they have a huge family because, like we were talking about earlier, they're one source income, so
Yeah.
they have a huge family got to take care of.
Right.
So maybe they don't understand the business aspect of doing taxes and the benefit of it. You know, long term. Yeah, maybe right now you can collect all that money, you guys can eat for a week or a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, doing it the correct way. I mean, do you guys people?
We do have people come over, and then especially all these people, they're good workers, especially for the construction. They know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
The only thing is they don't have how to prove it. Like everyone gotta have a license for everything.
Right.
So, like I would say, every case is different. But once you talk about it and you expose it on the table, we could help you, guide you what you have and what you don't have. So that way you just not sit, in that corner and not knowing what's going to happen.
Right.
So we always tell them, this is come to the office, sit down and talk to us. And then from there we go.
Yes.
And then what we do, supporting us, we do it where we try to go once a week. We give them, bring water, or we bring food for them. Or I think this when the epidemic was really hard, we were giving debit cards of $200 for them. We got that with that funding, and then we gave it to them. We gave it. So anything we could to help them, we do it. We provide. We give them masks and gloves and all those things. We are giving it to them.
What are some of the pushbacks that you guys get from people out there that don't want to go through the program for whatever reason? Like, what's one of the main reasons why they won't?
Okay, in detail, some people over there, I think they make more money being like that.
Right.
It's in their own benefit. Or there are some people really don't want to work, and just being there, they're working already.
They just don't want to follow guidelines.
So it's everything.
It's come to following guidelines because there's been times where SALVA has approached them, and they know, and we know that they don't have permits because they don't have the stickers, they don't have everything, the protocol, and they're just pushes off when we're just trying to help them, and they don't see it that way.
We kind of touched on that when we had Jimmy here about the vets, because I know a lot of vets are like this. I'm not saying everybody's like this, but we do know a lot of vets are like this, to where they choose to be out there because that's where they're comfortable.
Right.
And I, like
that's what they're
Jimmy
used to.
Jimmy made a great point where when you have a vet that comes from the war or wherever he comes from, and then they comes here back into society, and then they have their home because they're in an encampment, whatever, a tent. Who are we to tell them that that's not their home? Like, their home is not good enough, and we're telling them to go live over here, right? Like, that was a great point. But I know a lot of people is not a veteran, and I actually met this one lady years ago who she actually said she loves being homeless because, like what you just said, she said she don't want to follow the rules because the rules are too strict for her. So she said she would rather just be homeless. I mean, how do we?
I think when they take that choice, I don't know. I mean, and I'm not going to speak general for everyone.
Right.
But when someone speaks English, very good English, and you choose to be in the corner, like my boss said, like something happened here. I guess life. I ain't no doctor, nothing like that, but you could tell something is off.
Right.
So sometimes it's mental health.
It is.
A lot of times.
It is mental health.
So
yeah.
when we go there, we go in peace. We're not going to force nobody or wait here. You like it or not? No. Look, I said, this is what we get. And thank God we've been blessed that we never go empty-handed. We always offer them something. Hey, we got information that anyone is interested. The sun is pretty strong. You need some
Yes.
sun
That's
protection.
They never go empty-handed.
Things like that. So you start a relationship with them, and then
Right.
so the trust. They start trust
That's
because
huge.
some of them have been played like before. Like some people hire them and they don't pay them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that give you an aggression towards anyone. But like I said, everyone has a different point of view, and everyone have a different situation in that area. So we just go there, offer what we have, and whoever want it, you are welcome.
And I like that approach because everybody's situation is different because we all come from different backgrounds, different. We're raised differently.
Yeah.
We come from different cultures, everything, right? So that approach, I think, is the most powerful one. Is just go in peace, and
judging.
build relationships with people, and it's just gonna take baby steps.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's what it is.
It's something that they once they get used to seeing you going there. Like one day you will say, "Hey, we got this." Someday you say nothing. "Hey, I got you this. How's that thing going?" And, "Hey, is any problem?" Because we find out things that they're going through. I know I wasn't aware that I guess the store manager, I think it was something, make them I don't know how many feet they have to stay away from the main entrance.
Right.
You know, they cannot get close. And then a security guard used to throw them out. And then before it was the police, but I guess, I mean, so much going on and so much pressure. And there's other ones doing other stuff. You know, hey, that's the world. Right. We're not going to change it. But those who wants to or have the needs or doesn't know where to go, you will hear it. And if you have a good hearing, you will come with us and then we'll help you. We'll do our best to help you and we'll hope for the best.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm even more excited about the posada.
I mean, like for Thanksgiving.
We do so much. We trying to reach the community so much, and it's good and it's bad because now Salva is well known, but I mean we do got the negative too, but we try to block that and push it away, and we keep going forward with what we're doing.
Right.
You know, because
But we'll always stay focused on the good because from this I can only imagine how many lives have been changed, right, Diana?
And then the thing is that we have the proofs and we speak it so freely and proud. It's nothing that you can invent it because sometimes you I could say anything, but the way they come out is so natural. It's like I was there, I did it. And it's not only me, it's all of us.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we have our disagreement in our group. I mean, it's not always happy, but we have to understand, I need to respect your point and you need to respect mine. That's it.
And come together.
And then we have the heart to help the community. That's why we still together. That's why I still like it.
You need to have that. You got to have a big heart to be there.
Oh boy, there's some things that.
And Salvador, you came from El Salvador at an early age, or
I've been here, I think, for 20 years.
20 years?
20 years in this country, but I was born and raised in El Salvador, and then I've been there. With.
What part of El Salvador are you from? If you
San
don't mind
Miguel.
me? Oh, San Miguel. Migueleño.
Migueleño, yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, I mean, I think the best help is when you've been there and you've been poor. Because how am I going to tell someone, you know how it feels to be hungry? No, I've never been. I mean, I'm hungry, I go and buy my stuff. But when you're hungry and there's nothing to eat.
You've been there.
I mean, let's sing. Some people, I guess, that's how they start thinking but the belly was asking for food and then you can, and then you whistle or you do whatever you want. So when you hit that, it move you. So like, I don't want no human go through this.
Right.
It's not easy.
Right.
But I like the fact that you're able to be vulnerable and to share that experience and to say, hey, I know where you're coming from. And I think that that's key, you know, especially when you're going to reach out to the community. I mean, how are you going to be relatable when you tell them I've been there
Right.
and I hear it, you know? So I take a lot of pride in that.
I think, and people are not stupid. People could read you. People could feel your heart.
Well, I think people it's energy because we all we all have energy. We are connected in this world. And I don't want to get into the whole spirituality thing, but it is everything's vibrational, right? So it's energy, and it's just like how I talk about this a lot, and this is why I'm a huge advocate for kids because I've been working with kids since I was 12 years old. Because I've been homeless, right? I lost my mother at 5 months old. She was murdered. So I've been through that, you know. I think I've been through everything, you know, and I think I can relate. And when kids and even adults, when you sit down and talk to them, they can feel you. Because when you're talking about your experiences, they can feel the pain. Like, you can't fake that. So even like when I met Diana, you know, and I want to get involved with what she's doing with the AV Wellbeing Coalition and go out and talk to kids, is because I want to talk to the kids. Like, I'm at a point in my life, and this is why I do this podcast, where I've been successful. I've done a lot, and, you know, but now everything I do has to have a purpose. You know, absolutely. I have to help these kids. I want to be out there. I want to come to Salva. I want to help any way I can.
Working with kids is not easy because what you say, you have to deliver. You have to, I mean, these people, when they give you the trust, you better be there for them because,
absolutely.
Oh my God, disappointing a kid is just awful.
Oh, yeah.
And 100%. Diana, how old were you when you came from Colombia?
5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm pretty new in this beautiful country, so it's everything's just different
How old were you?
situations. I have 21.
You were 21.
You look like you're 19.
Oh, thank you. You make my day. Thank you for that.
No, I'm curious. What made you want to come here from Colombia? Since Colombia is so beautiful, do you have family here, or what motivated you to come here?
¿Qué te motivó para venir
¿Qué te
para acá?
motivó para venir aquí a los Estados Unidos de Colombia?
Dices tú, la situación. Sin embargo, pues yo de mi país, yo como ya teníamos un conocido y pues gracias a Dios, mi familia tuvo una persona que nos ayudara y pues ya gracias a Dios siendo residente, pues esto es mucho más sencillo el poder alcanzar. Porque si tú dices, siendo inmigrante, tienen muchos detenimientos. Sin embargo, como residente, pues dices tú, ya puedes ver la diferencia y aún así trabajando con Salva, pues dices tú.
¿Y veniste sola? ¿O
Sí.
está tu familia aquí también contigo?
No, me vine sola.
Viniste sola. ¿Y cómo fue eso?
Oh, dices tú, fue una experiencia un poquito traumática porque dices salir de casa, ya dices tú, wow.
Sale la palabra trama.
Dices tú salir de la casa, dices ya solito, mi hija, Dios la bendiga, lo acompañe y vaya con Dios. Y ya. Y pues dices tú, ese es un país en donde literal tanta multiculturalidad es hermosa. Digamos, por ejemplo, dices, yo soy supremamente feliz de que Dios me haya permitido ser colombiana, sin embargo es maravilloso ver mexicanos, salvadoreños, es todos los días levantarte y decir, oh, ¿qué voy a comer? ¿Qué voy a disfrutar? De tanta hermosa diversidad que hay en este hermoso país es lo que nos hace, dice, a mí me ha encantado eso, la multiculturalidad, que últimamente digo, no, quiero aprender coreano, quiero aprender algo asiático, es hermoso la multiculturalidad que tiene este país y pues dices tú, el Antílope del Valle, aún más.
We have everything.
No, I asked her, I said, when she came here from Colombia, did she come, by herself? And she shared that she actually did.
Okay, so everything you just said in Spanish, tell me in English.
Oh, yo,
Come on, you have to do it. Come on. Come on. The best you can. I mean, just paraphrase
She
it.
could do it.
Well, I know she can do it.
yes, but I mean, at this moment, just everyone look at me, no,
Come on.
no.
Come on. Hey, so
So-
this is the key. Just talk to me. Don't talk to the camera. Just talk to me. Just have a conversation.
Just talk to the Cuban man.
Talk to the Cuban man.
I feel it. Yes. So I'm 21 years old. I came 5 years ago. I came by myself. With help of God. I'll be honest. I'm not a religious person, but I mean a specific Latin culture. You always grew up listen of God.
Right.
So for me, I mean, I respect everyone, but at the same time, the various and the cultures in here, and it's in here in my heart,
Right.
and I raised like that way in a specific. So, I say, what I remember. Okay, yes, I love the different cultures in this beautiful country. I love, like for example, one day you can eat Mexican food, then the other day you can Vietnamese food,
Right.
and I love the experience of different types of food. It makes me happy.
Makes you happy.
Every
Yeah.
situation.
And in 5 years, where do you see Diana?
Oh my God.
What are your plans since you came here, right? Now you're in America, you have the opportunities,
Yes.
you have Salva, you're on your way, to the next level. What do you see for Diana?
For me, in this moment, empowered, in this moment, I'm so compromised to be aware in the young, to start to come and like erase and the beautiful heritage. So I'm a person like you can probably say, okay, she can understand everything she said. I try my best. Every time that I speak, I really want to touch your heart because everyone can see a lot of things in the few seconds, but I want to be connected. So in this moment, for me, Diana, I want to. I'm studying. Of course.
What are you studying?
I want to become. My major is administration of justice.
Ooh.
Yes, can be. I can be an immigration lawyer. We never know.
No, I think that's
That's
very
amazing, yeah.
important.
That's
Yes,
amazing.
so we never
like
know.
that.
But it's like it's so actually with advocating with SALVA, it's so important to know about the law. So actually, that is specific.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but we do know. You can beat it.
Oh,
It's not about we never know. Like that's putting doubt in your head. You do know. I just had Darlene Trevino on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she knew she wanted to be an attorney. She's an attorney out here. That's why the ribbon cutting I went to the other day, yesterday. She knew she wanted to be an attorney at age 9.
wow.
And yesterday we did her ribbon cutting. She just bought her own building, and now she has her own law firm building.
Wow.
So you don't. It's possible.
Yes,
She
it
went on a journey to, like, if you go back and listen to the show, like, she went through a lot of adversity, a lot of stuff, but she was able to always come back around and stay on that path. We always go off our path, and that's
Yes.
okay as long as you get back on your path. So just keep in mind, it is possible you will be an attorney.
Okay, thank you for that. I really it's
Speak
very-
it into existence.
seriously, yeah.
I think
100%.
that's what when it comes for the mental health.
Yeah.
Martina was talking about that our own enemy is ourselves because we put ourselves down. So you
Yeah.
always have to self. You could do it.
No,
You will
yeah.
do it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
It
And
don't
I
matter
think-
how long it take you. It doesn't matter how long it take you.
Yes.
Like, she's been on her journey since she was 9 years old. She started early, but just think, she finally did it.
Yes, because
Like,
actually with my case was pretty difficult to find a good way for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because for example, I grew up and like I love to help the person. I love to connect the persons. And for me, when I was like 9 years, I think, oh yeah, you can become professor because I love the kids and I take care of course a lot of kids in my life. Like, okay, you can be professor. Then next year, no, you can be an astronaut. You can't believe you can touch the moon. And it's so important to start to building our young,
Yeah.
I don't know how
Youth.
to say it, youth. About the awareness to start to empower them.
right. So you know what? One of the Eric Thomas, who's a motivational speaker, he's one of my favorite motivational speakers. He made a comment on one of his speeches one day. It took him 12 years to get a college degree. Now, typically it takes 4 years, right?
Yes.
He said it took him 12 years, but he never gave up because once you get your degree, it doesn't say it took him 12 years. He got a degree.
Right.
So that's why you should never get up, and it's never too late. Go after your goals and give.
No one think of
No one,
that,
no,
you know?
like no. If he wouldn't have told this
Our
story,
parents will say, it took you 12
yeah,
years.
no one would have ever known if he wouldn't have never said anything.
Right.
All they would have saw was degree. Yeah.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter how long it takes.
Great way to look at it.
Yeah, like it doesn't say on the degree, oh, it took her 12 years, but here it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. So keep going after your dreams, and if you want to be a professor, do it. If you want to be a lawyer, do it.
Yes. Thank you.
So then I could see you back at Salva
Yes.
helping as an attorney.
Yes. Why not? Like always is person to need help. It's so
love it.
important to be aware of that. And if I can be then that's a specific moment. Who knows? I can speak 3 languages.
Why not?
knows?
The
Yes.
sky's the limit. I always say.
I mean, that would be an amazing story if, like, 5-10 years from now,
Oh,
you
yes.
got that and you went. And obviously, if you were still a part of it, and just inspirational for those kids.
Yes.
She's very smart.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
thank
smart
you.
lady. She just
I
needs
know,
to
I
give
can
herself
tell.
more.
I could tell. Yeah.
Constantly challenging.
Oh,
her.
thank you so much.
But
No,
no,
it's
great.
good. It's amazing because I never have the opportunity to speak loud, and this is specific. Because in my beautiful, all around me, the specific is just only Spanish. Then I have to become like this beautiful space. I have to switch my brain, saying, okay, it's time to English, baby. Come on, give me information,
Right.
give me your vocabulary. It's time to you.
Well, I can feel that you're going to do it. I can feel it because, like I said, I'm big into energy. I like what you were saying earlier, and a lot of people think because I'm very much into spirituality, right? But I got to be honest with you. God is my foundation. Like, I'm not a big religious person, but I do know God. I do have a personal relationship with Him. That is definitely my foundation. But I am into energy and vibration because it's the universe. It's what He created, right? So I am into that. But I also want to touch back on what you were saying earlier because I don't want to forget this because it's something that's very important about how you saying, a lot of people always say they want to help, but they disappoint kids, right? And that is very important because, like, for me, I coach a disabled soccer team up in Valencia, and every year we be short on coaches, and I always tell my director that, look, if you don't have coaches, like, I do it because I'm one of the co-directors, and sometimes I'm just roaming around. But like even like this past season, I took on coaching one team because we had so many kids that signed up. We had 49 kids that signed up, and typically we only really have like 2 or 3 teams. But I said, you know what? I don't ever want to turn down no kids because it's such a disappointment, especially when it comes with the disability kids. Sometimes it's and I've been doing this for 8 years with these kids. It's the only thing that some of these kids have, like to come out there on practice on Mondays and on Saturdays for the games. And I always told my director, hey, if I have to coach a team by myself with no volunteers, I will, because I will never tell a kid, no, you can't play this season. Because it's such a disappointment.
That's the way of that's their way of out of whatever they're going through.
Right.
Because a kid could be something for us, adults could be something stupid, but for a kid, it's big.
It's
They're-
huge.
They're in a big trouble.
Right.
World.
Yeah.
And then I think when speaking of my experience, I was one of those kids that I went through so much. I don't recall no happiness when I was a kid. And I go, in my thing, a kid shouldn't suffer.
Right.
A kid is just a kid. They don't know. They think everybody's friend
Mm-hmm.
till you realize they're not. So my saying is that if you are going to help a kid, you need to heal yourself.
Right.
Because that kid is still there. If you don't touch and talk about it and work on it, you never will heal. So instead of be doing something good, you're gonna conflict.
Right.
So and then that's why every time I hear kids, I go, "Be careful what you're doing. It's very sensitive."
Oh, 100%.
You could direct them to the perfect line, or for just not showing up, you're gonna destroy.
Yeah,
their
you're
world.
sending-
You're gonna
yeah.
destroy their world.
You could, and just that one day where you don't show up could
Yeah.
be huge. I mean, we talked about this. I hate bringing it up at the city council meeting,
Yeah.
where this one kid came up and he's maybe 14 years old, and he spoke in front of the mayor and the city council, and somebody made a comment, and to me it was very disappointing, because one little comment like that could have deterred this kid for life, and for me, I was like, we should be praising this kid. For one, he's speaking in front of the city council, in front of the mayor. Congratulate him.
Absolutely.
Most adults can't do that, but yet he got, excuse my language, the balls to do that. Like, he stood up there and he was nervous, but he did it. But then someone made a comment, and I was like, don't do that, because now, I mean,
Shut him down.
and he might not ever want to speak in front of, you took away his voice once you do that.
But that's the beauty of a kid.
Right.
A kid will tell you the truth.
Right.
And us, grown up, we're not ready for the truth.
Yeah. They-
Right,
I'm a
but-
witness of that. I'm
Right.
a witness of that. I'm a
Sometimes it could be
testimony.
Right,
but
but to
it's
an
the truth.
extent, right?
It
But
is.
even like he said, even as an adult, you don't know what they went through as a child.
Yeah.
So you do have to be a little bit more empathetic, right? To where they're coming from. You can
When
stand
you
here.
see the aggression in a kid
Right.
don't supposed to act like that. But and then when I see that, I go, my dear Lord, what this poor thing has been through,
Right,
that he have to defend himself.
right,
So I don't see that as so bad. It hurt my heart that another kid is suffering.
right.
It's very sensitive to me.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's true, and that's why I'm very passionate with my and giving back to the youth and everything that we do, and I'm glad that you do bring that up, Salvador, and thank you for that, because being vulnerable, it's not easy, and especially from a man's perspective, to be able to talk about that, to
When
be
you're
able
a
to
kid,
express that.
You see everyone is tall.
Yeah.
You see, oh my God, that person. And I remember that time that when I grow up, I guess, and I see, but why you used to be so tall, now you're so short. It's that when you're a kid, anything is taller than you.
Right.
And you submit to anything.
Yeah.
And then when you're hungry, any price is good.
Yeah.
So, and I always said, try to help as much as you can a kid. Kid don't need to suffer.
No, we don't.
100%.
So,
No, and it's okay. No, no, but you know what? It's good that, believe me when I tell you that, it's good that we are touching on that.
No,
you
it
know?
is. I mean, I'm a huge advocate for kids. I mean, and it's funny because I was last show we was talking about why I love love so much, right? And it got me thinking, like all week I've been thinking about this. It's because when I grew up, like I said, I've been on my own since I was 14 because I didn't have my parents. But growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up with, around gangs and everything, I could have went the route of being in a gang and doing all kind of crazy stuff, but a lot of my friends grew up in families, so they had the mom, the dad, the brothers, sisters, and I didn't have that. And I think that's what I always wanted. I think that's what, because we was talking about that, and it made me think like all week, like why do I love love? Why do I love, helping kids, trying to inspire them to, to go to different routes and all that? It's because I went through it. Like I didn't have parents, and I always wanted that family, You're getting me emotional right now.
Aw,
but
see,
you
and
know what I
then
mean?
you're
Like,
talking about,
but it's easy
No.
to, when you
Yeah.
see a young kid and then they've been respectful, they've been loud and everything, and then the first thing you said, like, oh, I want to whip your ass and show you some respect.
No.
And instead of doing that, like, what this poor thing has been through to act like this.
Right. And it's
So
not,
give them
it's
space.
not, well, not only that, but it's taught. You know, a child it's not born aggressive. A child is not born angry. A child,
They get happy with
right.
silly
Smallest things.
It's because I was reading a book called The Bradshaw Family, and I always talking about this. It's a family, it's a system, right? Like as a child, you're given your name, you're given everything that you're, like you said, you're taught. You're a part of a we system until you become an adult, and hopefully once you become an adult, you can go out there and kind of explore your own world, and now you become the I system. But a lot as a child, you're a part of the we system. So you are your mom, your dad, your uncles, whoever is in your whatever your environment are. That's who you are.
I call us a team.
a
We're a
kid.
team.
Don't bring your title to a kid. Don't tell I'm an attorney.
Right.
I'm a business owner. No, they just know George. Whatever name you give, that's who you are. That's it.
Right.
So,
and that's what we do at the high schools, or actually we're going to be doing a workshop over at night prep. That's a junior high. So we build them, we teach them how to build that psychological safety. So we show them up until the age up until 18, you're taught what to wear, what to eat, right? All of these things. So
and
you
that's
become
a
a product.
crucial area that you need to be someone to guide them, because it's the transition that you get it from a child to a young man.
Right.
And that a lot of hormones are moving.
Right.
People are talking.
Right.
You have to prove something, and no, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody.
No, you don't.
Be happy who you are, and then educate them.
Right. Well, we teach them that they have choices up until that point, right? That although this has happened, the beauty about that is that you can now become your own narrator, your own director, your own makeup artist, your own lighting person, right? You can do any of that, but who's teaching that? And especially with Hispanic or immigrant families, they're taught when to eat, how to eat, and eat everything that's on your plate, because there's people starving, in the other side of the world. But then you have obesity, right? But you
like, I mean, I think every culture,
but I think it's
Hispanic
every
teach
culture. It's not just Hispanic. I think it's every culture. But I think it's great that we are, acknowledging, like you said, all of this, because you have different cultures, you have different upbringings, you have different mindsets, mentality.
Unique. That make you who you are.
Right.
What I am, you're not.
Right.
And that will make the beauty of life.
I've told my son, who just turned 9 years old, when I started doing the food bank, like what you just said, he sometimes he won't want to finish something. I said, you know what, I'm going to get your little happy butt up at the time that I get up, and I'm going to take you so you see how people take their kids and line up around the block and the other block to see if you ever waste food again.
But here's the thing, and I will highlight on that, is that although that is the reality and those children's circumstances, it's not his.
It's not, but it's nice to make him aware and appreciate and show him values.
Right.
I'm very old school. Where with my daughter, I had her doing recycling cans, selling candy door to door to buy. Okay, you want a pair of gloves before she got her scholarship. We're doing showcasing and whatnot. I said, you want these $250 gloves? Okay, knowing that we can afford it.
Right.
Why don't you meet me halfway? I'll go ahead and clean a few houses, which I do and I'm proud of. I can meal prep. I will go make salsa from my own garden, and I'll go buy a box of candies, and I'll take you to St. Joe's in Burbank or go door to door, and we meet halfway on money.
Right.
Because then it shows the value and the appreciation of how much $1 is.
Right.
Just because it's not my son's world, it's not bad to know the other side of the world.
Right.
Because it makes them aware and more humble of what we have.
Right.
Because today I might have it, tomorrow I might be buddies with the person next to me in 7-Eleven, which I know.
Right.
Because the word is staying humble and appreciate what you have.
Well, that's how parenting comes, because you need to understand that you cannot give your fears to your kids.
Right. I was just going to say
then I think it is hard, because you're teaching them how to become them, but at the same, you're eliminating their choices.
Right. That's where
It is hard.
I was just going to say that
difficult.
because
It is.
you have
has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance because although I'm sure that you're, like you said, you work hard to keep your kids from that. So like, for example, my parents, they came here and they wanted to give us a better life. So I wouldn't have to go through those struggles. So I wouldn't have to sell the candy. So I wouldn't have to. So they were setting me up for the next generation, right? For a different platform where they can focus more on their education because they are American. They do have, a different circumstance. So
when you're not the
when
one.
you don't know, you're a child.
Again, it goes
So
back.
it's really
It goes back to what I was just saying about at a certain age, your child and my. This is what I just did with my child, with my kids, I should say, and they're grown. It's about the I system and the we system.
Yes, yes.
At a certain age, and I know it's hard because as parents, we want to protect our kids, right?
You
But
get
we
punished for
have
who you
to.
are.
We have to let them go out there and explore and be them because we're all individuals. We all have our own path. As much as I want my daughter to be a producer like I used to be, she has her own path.
Right.
Right.
Like she has to go out there and make the mistakes.
Yes.
'Cause she has to go out there and fail. You can't get to success without failure, without going through failure. So you have to allow them to fail. Of course, we're going to protect them because that's just us as parents.
Parents don't want nothing bad to their kid. They want
Right.
The best,
the
right?
best. But put it out there and inject your fears through them because
Yeah.
they do it.
We do.
Right.
They do it, and then they, don't go like because you have those fears. Let him find his own.
Yeah.
Right.
Do not fight their battles. They let them fight their own battles.
I get like, for example, like with my kids too, because there could be so many things out there and,
That's terrible.
selling and, or whatever, maybe I allow them to earn it, like through their grades or take pride. Are you involved in extracurricular activities? Are you giving back to the community? That's how my kids are. And I always say my kids are very privileged, but I've also allowed that so they know what it's like to have a better life.
And not
I
to
don't
give
want
it like
them.
it's a bad thing or
And
it's
it's
an awful thing.
not.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. And back to what you were
Yeah.
saying, I do it, and it's in exactly what you said. Let's backtrack to that because I've been here since I was a year and a half. My parents brought me when I was here, raised in Burbank, and my kids, should I say, are privileged. And it's not that I did that with my 23-year-old to punish her or to inject her with my fears. It was more to have a little bit of injection of the real life of out there because we can, as parents, like we say, we don't want anything happening to our kids and we want to raise them in a bubble. No, it's more of the awareness because just like with the food bank, like I was telling them, I've done it in Burbank. I've done it at other communities. I've worked in the children's hospital. I've done it all and it feels great. It's very self-satisfying, but it's also good because like what you just said, both of my kids are I have them bypass 1 year in school. She graduated at 17, but make them aware of the opportunities and chances they have and get rewarded. But also, they both have great grades. She's already graduated. But within that said, I think it's also good to have them dip their feet into where your knowings and your whereabouts.
Right.
I think it humbles you because my kids are privileged. I don't like to say, sometimes you say, oh, people don't judge a book by its covers. They do. I don't tell people where I live. I don't tell them where I drive my husband's, 67 pickup Chevy, and you would never know, where does she live? On a ranch? And you don't know. because people judge.
Right.
People are judgy. So I think you have to stir away from that, but you have to also let your kids dip in the waters that known waters that we're aware of.
Right.
I think it's good for their soul too.
I agree with that. I love making I love making my kids aware of certain and putting them in certain situations just so they're not tunnel vision and just only have their
tunnel vision's a
own
great word. Yes.
only vision. Like you got to look at things from a different perspective.
A step out
And
of the
especially if
box.
you're going to communicate with people.
Yes.
And that's what I tell everybody. Like especially like my whole thing is. People don't wake up being an asshole, right? But if people no, they don't. It comes from somewhere. But when you walk up to somebody, like you said, that people judge someone, right? And if you walk across somebody and somebody's being an asshole, but if you take the time to get to have a healthy conversation with that person and find out the why behind that, then it's a different conversation.
Yep, a different perspective.
A different perspective,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
100%.
To me, when they, they're always hearing the bully, some people bully, but everyone has done we are able to stop it. How we're going to stop it? not to nutrient that matter. When you see someone being bullied, do not follow. Don't ignore it.
Right.
Walk away. Get that fool. It will be a fool by himself.
Yeah.
But why this bully keep going? Because people laugh about it. It's easy to laugh at someone who's being picked.
Because kids are assholes.
I don't think it's that.
Kids
I
are
think it's
mean.
sometimes they're a product of their environment. They're
It
not
is.
Kids are
choosing
mean.
that.
They will eat you up.
You know what I also learned is that we're not teaching them also choices, like
Yes.
because
But-
we're implementing, like, for example, my therapist, and I'll just use myself as an example. I used to love roller coasters, and I had asked him, like, why is it that I don't do this anymore? And is it because, and he goes, because you're an adult now, you've grown, it's growth. You didn't really have anything to fear, and as children we're fearless, right? And I think you were touching on that. And then he goes, and I said, yeah, but I feel guilty that I'm not sharing this with my kids. And what he shared with me is, what if they were like, what if your son was out with a few friends, right? And then they're like, oh, we're all going to go to a strip club and we're all going to go drinking, but your son doesn't want to do that. But he knows to say what?
Yes.
No, because I've said it before. If it's not a hell yes, it needs to be a hell no. So the same thing with the food. If your son is telling you, no, I don't want, you have to teach them that it's okay to make that choice. Because what if they're put in a situation where they're taught, like, well, I better because of, no,
Peer pressure.
so we're peer pressuring that at home. So how are they able to, to shift away from that when they're out now into society? So that's why I always say the work starts at home, where we're teaching them yes and we're teaching them no. We're allowing them to grow and make their own choices. What is the kind of food that you like? What is the kind of clothes that you like? Because I always tell my kids, if I die tomorrow, you're going to have to be able to distinguish that, to make those choices, to know what you like, to know what you don't like. So sometimes at home, I wasn't taught that. I was taught, well, there's people that are starving, is starving in the world. And then I used to think to myself, well, I'm not in that part of the world and I'm not starving. So I'm saying no. You know what I mean?
There's kids in Ethiopia don't
Right.
have food, and he says, well, that's
True.
to them.
Right. And but you know what, in a way it's true.
It's speaking the truth.
And he's
Yes.
learning, right? And he's
Yes.
learning what he likes and what he doesn't like,
Yes.
because sometimes even in our culture, we see a lot of obesity because of that, because we're peer pressuring them. And then they go out into society and they're being peer pressured by their peers to do things that they're not wanting to do because we raised them that way.
But this is the magic of life. I don't know if you happen, you guys, that you go say, I connect with this person. But when you said you connect, it's because you see yourself, you've been through what they're going through. And that's the connection you get.
Right.
Because you understand. You won't hear from me what people have been telling you. I say, I get you what you're saying. I know what you're going through. So they feel it. Oh my God, you understand me.
Yeah.
So that's the key. Everything starts in the family. Family is the one.
No, and you're right, and we're kind of running out of time. But just to touch back on what you just said, because both of you guys are correct. Kids are assholes, but like she said, they're a product of their environment.
Yes.
So it's not their fault.
No.
It's their environment.
It's
It's
their
their people that they're around. Again, the we system. They're
So
part of that we
behavior.
system. So whatever their environment it is, that's what they are. So it is about, education and that's why, and awareness. And that's why, again, why I do what I do, because I want to inspire these kids. So when they get a certain age, hopefully they're listening to me. And, when we go into these schools, they're listening to us. And, and we can change their mindsets. And cause it all starts with mindset, and they can get into the I system.
Yeah, and teaching them that they have these choices, right? Choices where
Don't
we
embarrass them.
Right, and don't
There's no
embarrass
kid.
them,
We teach them to be embarrassed.
Right.
And I
Right.
think also to let them know that it doesn't matter what age, what we were talking about early. We're in our culture, we always say in Spanish, él es niño, no entiende.
No, they know.
And that's he's a kid, they doesn't understand.
Right.
And that is the worst thing you could do, because at an age from 1 to 3, your kid is a sponge.
Yeah.
They have a voice. Like in our table, when we have dinner, we have no phones other than my husband with electronics because of work. But it's always trivia, feeding that brain.
Table topics.
People talking and interacting and doing that. And knowing that whether he was 3, 4, 5, now 9, he has a voice.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? That I'll listen to your view. You listen to mine, and you'll listen to Dad's. Now, if we all agree, that's a whole other different ballgame. But you do have a voice,
Right.
Yeah.
and we need to teach that to the kids.
Right.
And a lot of parents say, no, he doesn't. Your voice doesn't count. Is basically what they're teaching.
Yeah, no.
Their
It
voice
does.
do count.
Oh yeah. Even
100%.
for dinner, I'll ask, what would you like? Melody will say, I would like some salmon. And Ethan likes some filet mignon, and I'm looking at them like, my God.
It
But
could
you
be
know
like
what?
cows, too.
But you're teaching them that.
I'm like, you're
right.
tripping. You're getting this.
No, but you know what? I
Yeah,
like
no.
the fact that they
That they
do
put
like
their
these
voice in.
things, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then it's teaching them to push
Yes.
harder, to
Yes.
know what it's like. That these foods are not cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
But they
But
need
you're
to
building
compromise.
them.
Yes.
You're building them.
They got that
Yeah.
it's Monday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Take your day, they're gonna do it, and then another day for another one, and so
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
The sub solution is there.
Yeah.
We just need to
I
be-
love it. I love it.
So, anyways, thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for.
Yeah.
Listen, when they
Salva.
told us an hour ago, no, too long, what we're gonna talk?
I know. Didn't I tell you?
And now I can stop.
You can't stop now.
And when is the posada?
Yeah, what is it?
December 17th.
In the posada.
Yeah, wake up, Diana.
Yeah, no, I'm not sleepy, but it's that specific topics I cannot like approach or say
Okay.
something because it's a lot of
It's okay.
So, come back to the posada. So the posada will be having December 17. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So we'll be having the posada December 17
Okay.
to 10 to 3 p.m. So everyone is welcome.
And it's located at the
Yes, at the located SALVA.
Okay.
Yes.
on
Yes.
Avenue
And
S.
so I'm glad you guys came here today because I actually never knew anything about Salva. And that just goes back to earlier today, we did a segment, Diana and I, with somebody else. And we were just talking about that, like a lot of things we don't know out here because of the promotional aspect of it, because, and that just comes from, we have to keep conversations going.
Yes.
We can't just say something one time and then expect the whole Antelope Valley to know about it. Like we got to continue to talk about it, continue to have these conversations.
Yes.
And that's why we do what we do every week because
Thank you so much.
it's
And they prove that all the backgrounds are different and all our needs are different.
yeah, exactly. It's consistency. Consistency is part of the key of success. So we got to keep having these conversations. So I appreciate you guys for coming on.
so much
I
for
definitely
having us.
want you guys to come back. At a later time and again continue the conversations. I definitely want to come out and talk, help you guys and support. So we're gonna talk about that once we end the show. But I definitely want to come out and do whatever I can. Thank you always for being an amazing host.
Hey, that's right.
Doing
And
it
thank
the-
you, Salvador.
the
And
God
Very well, and I'm
big
sorry
ups
that
to
I
my
opened up my
Guanacos
heart.
out there. Yeah.
No.
All right, but tell the people again how they can find you guys on your social media and all that.
Well, we are in Facebook, and then
Okay.
once you put the name Salva, it will show up there.
Okay.
You could Google it. If you're looking for the address, Google it, it will be there. And it's that amazing feeling that we're on the all the things, Facebook, Instagram,
Everywhere.
and
Everywhere.
TikTok.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
really? I didn't even know that.
Yes.
Wow.
So we're on that. And
And
Salva,
for people to volunteer, they can just come out any Saturday
give
or
us a call. Give us a call, and then
Give us a call first.
we'll take it from there.
As for Lupita.
Yes,
Yeah,
true.
for the food bank.
But I
Okay.
just don't want no one to worry about names.
Oh, yeah.
Call.
Just
and
call.
once
Call.
you
Reach
call,
out.
I'll direct you.
what's the number?
661 526 7540. I
Ooh,
remember
good job.
so much. Yes, thank you.
Beat you there.
Yo en español, 661-526-7540.
Great. You're doing an amazing job, by the way.
Thank you so
I know I said that before, but I'm gonna continue to say that.
He's a sweetheart.
So is just the food bank the only volunteer opportunities or more? There's everything?
Yes.
Okay,
Little
but
bit
just
everything.
call the number.
Yes.
Just call.
Okay.
Just reach out.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we're not gonna waste the time. Said remember the name. Forget about the name.
Right, just call.
Call.
Just call.
Yes, richness.
and
Yeah,
it
because
will
I'm bad
welcome
with
you.
names.
Call
You guys know that.
Salva.
What we about to listen.
Hey, she's doing a commercial.
The karaoke's coming up.
Oh, look it.
yes.
You start to feel
Getting ready
it.
for karaoke.
She's ready.
Just you ready.
We're going to
Wow.
take Diana.
Thank you for making it so easy. It's so pleasant.
Hey, thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for being vulnerable because that's something that we definitely missing in our culture and even
Yes.
in the world for men to even open up and just being vulnerable and being real. Thank
Be
you
who
so
you are.
much.
I
for
laugh
that.
a lot, so that's how I clean my heart.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Sandra, for bringing them and for you coming out. Thank you for your karaoke too. We're gonna come back to that. Thank you, Diana, for just being an
pleasure
amazing
to
you
meet you,
are.
sir.
Stay on your path, stay on your truth, and just don't give up. Go after your dreams. It's possible. Anything's possible. It's all possible.
Colombia stand up.
Yes.
Hey, so you know where we going, Rio? He's from Colombia.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm wearing. Like
Yeah.
yes, like paisano.
Yeah.
Paisano.
And this one is single too.
De eso no hablamos, querido. Like continue your path. It's starting, honey.
All right, we out of here, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.